Hello everyone, I am Manas Srivastav and you are watching UPSC Essentials of the Indian Express. And it's now time to discuss the key terms of the week. There have been some terms which you must have seen in the headlines of the newspaper or between the lines of the news. So those are the terms which we are going to discuss today, which are going to be helpful in your UPSC preparation. So let's start with one such term. The first term which we are discussing today is the term LiFE movement. Remember, LiFE has a small I. You must have seen the word LiFE covered in Indian Express headline on the occasion of World Environment Day when PM Modi launched this movement called the LiFE movement. We also covered this news in the one word a day section of UPSC Essentials. So let us understand what is the relevance of this term for our UPSC. In UPSC prelims, you might be asked a question around this term. Also in mains, GS paper 4 and essay, LiFE can be value enrichment for your answer because there is an element of individual behavioral change in it. Needless to say, in GS 3, environment and ecology, this word becomes important. On the occasion of Environment Day, Prime Minister Narendra Modi on Friday launched the Lifestyle for the Environment movement or the LiFE movement with the small I. This is a global initiative and he launched it through a video conferencing method. The idea of LiFE promotes an environmentally conscious lifestyle that focuses on mindful and deliberate utilization instead of mindless and wasteful consumption. Aspirants, you should know that the idea of LiFE was introduced by the Prime Minister during the 26th UN Climate Change Conference of the Parties called COP26 in Glasgow last year. The LiFE movement aims to bring positive change in the environment by collective action. Also, it aims to persuade individuals across the world to undertake simple climate-friendly actions in their daily lives or adoption of environment-conscious lifestyles. Global leaders have applauded India for focusing on individual behavior change towards climate change. It also seeks to make the best use of social network to influence social norms surrounding climate change. Aspirants, there is a very important term in this LiFE movement known as P3. The mission plans to create and nurture a global network of individuals, namely pro-planet people. So P3, pro-planet people. P3 will have a shared commitment to adopt and promote environmentally friendly lifestyles. Through the P3 communities, the mission seeks to create an ecosystem that will reinforce and enable environmentally friendly behaviors to be self-sustainable. So as I said, this is just not relevant for environment section of UPSC. You can make its best use in essay, also in various GS answers. The next important word today is Aadhaar. This is a very common word these days, but it was in news for a special reason. The explained section under the title Securing Your Aadhaar Data tried to explain the issue and the relevance of Aadhaar. The relevance of Aadhaar as per UPSC syllabus is in GS2 of Polity and Governance. Also, you can expect a question in prelims. So why was it in news? The word Aadhaar was in news because the Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology withdrew an advisory issued by the Aadhaar agency which cautioned people not to share a photocopy of the document with entities such as hotels and cinema halls owing to the possibility of misuse. A ministry statement said that the advisory was withdrawn because it could be misinterpreted. This advisory was issued earlier by the Regional Office of the Unique Identification Authority of India, or as you know it as UIDAI in Bengaluru. So let us briefly know what is UIDAI. So the UIDAI is a statutory authority established on 12th July 2016 by the Government of India under the jurisdiction of Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology following the provision of Aadhaar Act 2016. So what is important here is the ministry, and of course you should know the provisions of Aadhaar Act of 2016 briefly. This UIDAI was initially set up in January 2009 as an attached office under the aegis of the Planning Commission. The UIDAI assigns 12-digit unique identification or the UID number called Aadhaar number to all the residents of India. Dear aspirants, in the explained section of the Indian Express, it is told to us that while a regular user cannot control data breaches of Aadhaar, there are some steps to ensure that one's Aadhaar card number is not used by anyone else. So what are these steps? Some of these steps include the two-factor authentication on the Aadhaar card, or turning on the biometric lock, or using virtual identity or VID for authentication. So remember these points from the prelims perspective. Also refer the explained section which explains how you can secure your Aadhaar data, not only for exam point of view, but also for your general life. The next term which I am going to discuss today is the Tamagotchi generation. So this Tamagotchi generation was discussed in the everyday explainers by the explain desk of the Indian Express. So let us know more about this term and see how can we utilize this term in our UPSC preparation. So a book has predicted that by the third quarter of this century, parents will have the choice of digitizing their offspring or having digital offspring. Which means that if you are in your teens now, you may look forward to playing with a grandchild who will exist only in the immersive digital world of the metaverse. Interesting, isn't it? It goes on to tell us that this will be called as Tamagotchi generation. It is said by the British behavioral psychologist and user experience professional whose name is Catriona Campbell, who is also the author of AI by Design, a plan for living with artificial intelligence. Campbell writes, quote, "Virtual children may seem like a giant leap from where we are now. But within 50 years, technology will have advanced to such an extent that babies which exist in the metaverse will be distinct from those in the real world." She goes on to write, "As the metaverse evolves, I can see virtual children becoming an accepted and fully embraced part of society in much of the developed world." Unquote. The word Tamagotchi generation actually comes from the digital pet created by the Japanese toy manufacturer Bandai, which was a global rage in the 1990s and early years of this century. As of last year, more than 80 million Tamagotchi toys have been sold so far. Just for fun, let me tell you how does the toy look like. So the toy is an egg-shaped video game the size of a keychain, which has a screen and buttons. Once the pet is activated, an egg appears on the screen and hatches into a pet for the players to raise. The pet feels hungry, happy, sick, and want to go to the toilet, etc. And the players can care as much or as little for the pet as they desire. So, it can be a part of prelims question that what do you understand by Tamagotchi generation, or you can make this Tamagotchi generation as a part of your essay when something around technology or artificial intelligence comes in your paper. Now, you must have seen this in the explained section written by Yashi of Indian Express. This is important for prelims, especially the science section. So what is this word? This is the world's largest plant which has recently been discovered off the west coast of Australia. A seagrass which is 180 kilometers in length. So this is the world's largest plant known yet. So let us understand what the explained section talks about this particular plant. So the ribbon weed has been discovered in Shark Bay by a group of researchers from Flinders University and the University of Western Australia. These researchers have also found that the plant is 4,500 years old. It is sterile and has double the number of chromosomes than any other similar plant, and has managed to survive the volatile atmosphere of the shallow Shark Bay. So, do find where is Shark Bay in your map. The ribbon weed covers an area of 20,000 hectares. One interesting historical fact about this plant. Sometimes in the Harappan era, a plant took root in the Shark Bay. Now, then it kept spreading through its rhizomes, overcoming everything in the way, and here we are today. The researchers also found that the ribbon weed cannot spread its seeds, something that helps plant to overcome environmental threats. Also, Shark Bay sees fluctuation in temperature and salinity and gets a lot of light. Now, these are the conditions which are challenging for any plant. Yet, the ribbon weed has managed to survive. And a part of the reason may be that it is a polyploid. Now, a small homework for you. Go and look what is a polyploid. There is a very important fact which is mentioned in the explained section. It says that because seagrass performs a vital role in the environment, it's a good news for everyone in the world threatened by climate change. In India, seagrass is found in many coastal areas, most notably in Gulf of Mannar and Park Strait. Underline this fact for your prelims. Apart from being home to a variety of small organisms, seagrass traps sediments and prevent water from getting muddy, absorb carbon from the atmosphere, and prevent coastal erosion. So this is the relevance of seagrass which you must know. And one final point about the Shark Bay ribbon. The Shark Bay ribbon, as told to us in the explained section, has served as a sinkhole, hospitable city, and a firewall for centuries. And it has done all this without mating. So maybe it has one more distinction, which is being one of the oldest champions of sologamy. So these were some of the important key terms from the last week. If you want to know about more such terms, do visit our UPSC Essentials Key Terms of the Past Week, which is released every Monday on indianexpress.com. The UPSC Essentials section, one word a day, also introduces you to a lot of words which are relevant for your UPSC examination. Dear aspirants, UPSC Essentials is a dedicated section for your UPSC preparation on indianexpress.com. which introduces you to various initiatives like One Word a Day, Case Study of the Week, Key Terms of the Past Week, and the Weekly News Roundup, etc. UPSC Essentials and UPSC Key are two important initiatives of the IndianExpress.com which will help you in your journey to the civil services examination. So subscribe to Indian Express for more such videos. Think smart, work hard, conquer your goals.